Gamers, welcome into another Calibi build video. Today I have for you a super strong Stamina Sorcerer for PvP. This build makes use of a couple of weapon sets to dish out some huge damage and pressure. And of course, being a Stam Sorc, it has great movability as well. I've been having a huge amount of fun on this Stam Sorc because I just love the playstyle. So let's get stuck into it. Okay, so let's get into it. Really cool Stamina Sorcerer build. First things first, let's look at the stats. Our race is an Orc, which is really good for damage and movement speed. We have 26 into health, 38 into stamina. You probably could put more into stamina. I just like a nice 34k health pool. We have 21k max stam, 16.5k max magicka. Stam recovery is really nice at 1,700 and magicka at 1,000. 4,500 weapon and spell damage, 30% crit, just under 5k penetration, but we do have major breach, so that's really nice as well. And then our resistances are sitting at around 22k back bar and front bar, and then 1.3k crit resist. Okay, so Mundus Stone, we've gone with the Lady because my resistances were a little bit low, so we topped it up with that Mundus. We're using Smoked Bear Haunch. This is a really good PvP food. It gives you max health, health recovery, stamina, and magicka recovery. It's the go-to. Very expensive though, so if you don't want to spend all your gold, you could go with the Jaws of Misrule, which is the same, just not quite as good. And also, we are stage 3 Vampire to make sure we get that Undeath passive. Okay, so getting straight into the sets, we've got a lot going on here. There's a lot of lots of bits and pieces running around. First off, I'm going to talk about the weapons. I have Dual Wield Masters, which you get from Dragonstar Arena. You don't really need to Perfected, you can do it on normal. Perfected just gives you an extra lot of crit chance. But Twin Slashes deal 1,635 more damage for each hit of the initial attack and bleed. So it just adds flat damage on top, really good to have. And then you use I'm using the Blood Craze morph, so we can do a lot of damage with that. And then on the back part, we have the Perfected Vadashran Ice Stuff. Again, don't need Perfected, could just go for normal, but Perfected gives you some more penetration. But this is really good because casting Weakness to Elements on a target within 15 meters of you causes a surge of elemental energy to tether between you for 10 seconds. While the tether persists, enemies touching the tether take flame, shock, or frost damage every 1 second, and it increases by 1% each time it deals damage up to 20%, and it can occur every 10 seconds. So this is great because it's a really strong dot that puts a lot of pressure on. It hits multiple people if enemies are touching it. But what's really good about this is it procs by just casting Weakness to Elements, which is a great skill already because it has a huge range of 34 meters, doesn't cost anything, hits the target for major breach, reducing their physical and spell resistance, and applies Burning Chill and Concussed. So all that on a skill that doesn't cost anything, and you get some huge damage as well. I'm surprised this hasn't been nerfed yet. So we're going for that. And then a bit of a weird one, the Mythic, we are going with the Ring of Pale Order. Now, this is usually, what this does first is it restores 20% of the damage you deal as health. The value is decreased by 4% per ally you're grouped with. You cannot be healed by anyone but yourself, your pets, or your companions. So, obviously, I'm running solo with this. I wouldn't recommend running it in a group, so this build wouldn't work in Battlegrounds. I do have some ideas to switch it up if you do want to do some Battlegrounds or some group play, but if you're solo, I go with this. I go with this because it's a huge amount of healing on a class that doesn't have a good burst heal. Like Sorcerer is the only class that you don't get, you don't get the DK Dragon Blood or, the Warden Polar Wind or anything like that. So it allows you to keep pressure up but whilst also healing at the same time. So it's actually really strong. So I've been loving that. And then on the other two jewelry pieces, we have Trainee, which gives us a huge chunk of max health and a huge chunk of max magicka. So what you can do if you are running in a group, I would just switch out Pale Order for Sea Serpent's Coil, and then just put the other Trainee on. So you've got 2 Trainee on the rings and then Sea Serpent's Coil. That'll give you a huge amount more damage, but slightly less survivability. So it's up to you. Or you could go Marking Ring. That would work as well. And then we have the monster set Bloodspawn. I think everybody uses this on the Dragon Knight, and I think they're sleeping on the other classes, because this is still really good. It gives you 1 piece stamina recovery, and then when you take damage, you have a 6% chance to generate ultimate and increase your physical and spell resistance by 3,600. Again, resistance was a tiny bit low, so I thought I'd run this, and it's really nice, and it makes our ultimate proc very often, so I really like that. Of course, helmet and shoulder. And then that leaves one last 5 piece. We've gone for the crafted set Ashen Grip. This adds max health, weapon and spell damage, critical chance, and then when you deal martial melee damage, you breathe fire to all enemies in front of you for 2,565 flame damage. You could use Way of Fire instead, but that comes in heavy, I believe. And it procs more often, but it doesn't hit as hard. So I like Ashen Grip because it's a little bit of an AoE as well. You can hit multiple people, especially if you're running with a Dawnbreaker, and then this goes off as well. It's quite nice. So we have this on the 5 body pieces: the chest, belt, feet, legs, and hands. So yeah, I really like it. You run in, you hit them with the stinging slashes, you got the tether on them, and then you hit them with the Way of Fire as well. Sorry, with the Ashen Grip as well. So yeah, just to recap, Perfected Stinging Slashes set on the front bar, Valastran Ice Staff on the back bar, Pale Order Ring, Trainee Ring and Necklace, Bloodspawn, and Ashen Grip. In terms of weights and traits, we've gone 2 heavy on the helmet and the chest for the big pieces. We've gone 4 medium and 1 light just for the passives. Light on the small piece, so I've got it on the belt. You could have it on the shoulder. Either one's fine. And then I've gone for reinforced on the big pieces as well for that extra armor, and then well fitted for the rest, just so we can get a lot of dodge rolls in. And in terms of enchants, I've gone mostly tri-stat. You don't really need to. You can go more stamina, more magicka, whatever you feel like you're short of, because tri-stat can be a bit expensive, but that's how I like it. And then on the jewelry, we've got a swift weapon damage, an infused stem recovery, and another infused stem recovery. So we get a really nice stem recovery on Spirit, especially with Dark Deal. We never run out, and we are sprinting and dodge rolling a lot, so it's nice to have. And then we have a poison and a disease on the front bar, and then I've gone for powered with the weapon damage on the back bar. So in terms of skills, there's a bit you could swap around in here. I've been playing with a few different skills, but what I've landed on mostly is what we have here. So first one, Camouflage Hunter. I don't really use this unless there's a Nightblade about, which will reveal them from stealth. But it's really nice to have slotted. You get Major Savagery and Prophecy, increasing your weapon and spell crit, and you gain Minor Berserk for 5 seconds after dealing crit damage from the enemy's flank. And you get a little bit of extra damage for having the Fighter's Guild ability, the Fighter's Guild passive. So that's nice to have. This is our main damage, Blood Craze. Slice an enemy with both weapons to cause deep lacerations, dealing 1,716 bleed damage of each weapon and causing them to bleed over time. And you heal for 1,000 health every time this ability deals damage. And of course it does more damage because of our Stinging Slashes set. And of course, Ashen Grip will proc from this as well. Streak, go to for the Sork, you shoot through the air. It does a really nice stun, it's a really nice getaway. Just don't spam it because casting again within 4 seconds costs 33% more. But yeah, really nice to have. Crystal Weapon, this does a huge amount of damage. Encase your weapon in dark crystals for 6 seconds, causing your next 2 light or heavy attack to deal additional damage and reduce the target's armor. The first hit deals 6,000 physical damage and the second deals 2,000. And after casting, your next non-ultimate ability used within 3 seconds costs 10% less. So yeah, this gives us huge amount of burst, especially paired with this and our proc sets. It just shreds through people, catches them off guard, especially if you can hit them with a Dawnbreaker and stun them as well. Really nice. And then Crit Surge, this is our major brutality and sorcery. And also, while active, dealing crit damage heals you for 3,696 health, can occur every 1 second. That's kind of why I also like this as well, to give us a little bit of extra crit, so the heal procs more often. And then of course we're going for Dawnbreaker of Smiting. We all know what this does: huge damage, stuns everybody, and then does a dot as well. And extra damage from the Fighters Guild passive again. That's definitely my go-to. And then on the back bar, we have Hurricane. This is our major resolve. It also gives us minor expedition, letting us move a bit faster. And then does damage in an AoE. Gotta have that on a Stam Sorc. Gone with Race Against Time. This gives us major expedition, so we have minor and major. And then we get minor force, increasing our crit damage done by 10%. And this removes snares and immobilizations from you, so you can keep moving. Because movement speed is king in PvP. As long as they can't catch you, they can't kill you. This OP skill, Elemental Susceptibility, we talked about this a bit, but yeah, Major Breach, inflicts Burning Chill and Concuss, and will proc our Valishran. So good. Doesn't cost anything, huge range. Yeah, unbelievable. Dark Deal, bargain with darkness to restore 9,000 health and stamina instantly, an additional 2,000 stamina over 10 seconds. And also grants minor berserk and minor force, increasing your damage done, which we get from other places as well, but you're really going to want a Dark Deal on a Stam Sorc. Keeps your sustain going, and really nice heal too. Just be careful with this because it can be interrupted, so you're going to want to line of sight, take cover before you use this, or if you're CC immune, you can spam it to your heart's content. And then Resolving Vigor, nice OP heal over time, and minor resolve, very good go-to. And then for the back bar the back bar ultimate, I don't really use it very often, but Temporal Guard lets you step backwards in time, very good for getting away in fights every now and then if you know you're going to die, but we mainly have it for the minor protection to reduce damage taken by 5%. So yeah, quick explanation of what I would do is I will proc up, get everything going. I will light attack into Elemental Susceptibility, so you get the beam. Then I'll hit Crystal Frag, and then I'll leave a light and heavy into the Twin Slashes. And then that's it. Dump an ultimate to finish them off. Stun them with a streak, so then your dots tear them away, tear them down, and it's just, you get a huge amount of damage. Ashen Grip explodes, and yeah, that's all it is to it. As you can see, huge movement speed as well. Get behind cover to Dark Deal, rock out, and yeah, there you go. So, last thing we need to talk about is champion points. Nothing too crazy, kind of the normal. Green Tree, you know, all the same. Gifted Rider, Steve's Blessing. Make sure you get Breakfall, very important. And then in the blue tree, we are going for Ironclad. Reduce your damage taken by direct damage attacks by 6%. Focus Mending, increase your healing done by 10%. Master at Arms, increase your damage done with direct damage attacks by 6%. And then I've gone for Reaving Blows. When you deal direct damage, you heal for 8% of the damage done. Again, because Sorc doesn't have a good burst heal, having all these huge damage over time, heal over time is really nice, especially when you're dishing out damage and then healing in return at the same time. Just means you can keep pressure up and you don't have to stop and heal. So yeah, really nice. Red Tree, Celerity for the extra movement speed, Boundless Vitality for the extra health, Relentlessness, being stunned or feared causes you to gain major protection, really good for PvP, and Pain's Refuge, reduce your damage taken by 2% for every 2 negative effects. Again, really good for PvP too. And there we have it. I mean, I'm running immovable potions, nothing really too crazy there, and that's the entire build. There you go. As I say, I've absolutely loved the Stam Sorc playstyle. I like being really fast, getting in, doing some damage, and then quickly getting out again. It's just an absolute blast as I fall down a cliff. So yeah, thank you everyone so much for watching. And that's it for the build. Thank you everyone so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel and pleases the YouTube algorithm gods. And of course you get to see all the upcoming content. And be sure to leave a comment on any other builds you would like me to make. Thanks everyone so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.